What was once the Polk County Courthouse now serves as the Polk County History Center and houses the Historical Museum and Library. The museum serves Polk's community through special events, volunteer opportunities, and educational programs. More details are coming up next on Polk Place. Welcome to Polk Place. I'm your host, Tina Mann, and joining me in the studio today is Murtish Young, the Historic Preservation Manager at the Polk County History Center.
Hi, Tina.
Welcome as always.
Thank you.
So I'm very excited today because we received the most phenomenal news. Why don't you tell us about our national recognition?
Well, yes, it is a very exciting opportunity for us to share this very important award that we have received. Through the American Alliance of Museums, the Polk County History Center has now earned our accreditation. And that is just a wonderful statement to our public and to the world that we have achieved standards of best practice as established by this peer review organization. We are working in an environment following the gold standard of museum operations.
Right, it's a very, I've been reading and kind of researching on it, it's a very prestigious thing. In fact, only 4 museums in the entire country received this award this year, and we were one of them.
That is correct. That is a pretty, when we saw that, we were like, wow, this is pretty exciting.
And I think the statistic was something like out of 33,000 museums, there's only like 1,100 that are actually accredited. So
that is correct. They're about, out of the 33,000 members of the American Alliance of Museums, we have, I guess it's around 1,200. What that drill down to the state of Florida, there are only history museums. There are only 15 history museums in the state of Florida that are accredited, and within our region, the only museums that are accredited are the History Center, the Tampa Bay History Center, Orange County Regional History Center, and then the Polk Museum of Art at Florida Southern College. Although not a history museum, it does have the Columbian Collection, so it does have a bit of history in there, but it is an accredited affiliate in our area.
Right, and they also feature, I know, a lot of exhibits that bring in different artists from, before to now. So I know this wasn't an easy award to get. Why don't we talk a little bit about the accreditation process and what you guys went through in order to achieve this?
Thank you. Yeah, it's a point to brag that the process is quite involved, and for us it was about a 6-year process. The first step for us is that we had to do an assessment. So we were very fortunate to, through our relationship with the Library Cooperative, earned a grant to have a national company come in and do an assessment of our practices. And so from that, they developed really a checklist of all the things that we needed to do in the areas of collections management and what we needed to do to rise to the level of an accredited museum. So once we got to a point that we realized that we had corrected or achieved those basic steps, we applied to the American Alliance of Museums for the accreditation process. And the first step is an evaluation of our core documents. So that's the first step in the highest standards of museum management, and it's looking at our mission statement and the institutional code of ethics and our strategic institutional planning and the disaster preparedness planning. All that has to be in place, and right down to our collections management policy. So we had to write those, and those had to be approved first. Once the core documents were approved that kind of basically set the outline on the way that we would practice or manage the museum, the next step was to participate in a self-study. Got to tell you, when I first got that, I was like, whoa, it sort of took me by surprise. It's a very significant self-study There are about 32 pages of questions and inquiries that we completed that helped us work through that process, that thought process, and that planning process to see how we rank and what we need to do to achieve best practices that are established by the American Alliance of Museums. That took about 18 months to complete that process.
Wow.
So once the American Alliance Museums reviews that, then the next step, so the core documents are approved, assessed, the self-study is completed, the next step is a site visit. So we had museums, peer museums come in, they spent 2 days with us and went through a very, very extensive interview of staff, checking, and what they are doing at the site visit is checking to make sure that the self-study information is in alignment with what we were actually doing. So after that, all of the core documents, the strategic planning that we've done, the report from the site, the peer review site visit, goes to a national accreditation board. They meet for 2 days and they look at all the documents, the self-study, the core documents, the report from the site review, and then they make a determination on the accreditation. And I'll tell you, it was a really exciting day. I received a phone call from one of the members of the accreditation board to tell me that we were accredited. And in that process, there are really 3 possible outcomes. One is full accreditation. One is you can be tabled to correct some things that didn't quite live up to or meet that core standards, that best practices standards, or just completely you're not eligible. So to get a phone call on your first try that you're accredited, it was a day of celebration. So yes, we are fully accredited by the American Alliance of Museums. We are practicing at the highest standards possible for museum management, and it is an accreditation that has a 10-year lifespan. So at 10 years, we'll go through the process again, but for 10 years, we are fully accredited museum.
And basically, they're just confirming what I already know and tell you every single time you hear that you are here, that you are a quality establishment and everybody should visit.
Thank you very much.
So congratulations on your accreditation, and everybody should come and check it out if they haven't already, because you guys offer some wonderful things. Speaking of wonderful things, why don't we talk about September now?
September, fall in Florida.
Finally, let's please be cooler. So what is up first for the kiddos?
Curators of Curiosity. Fun time. In 1978, President Jimmy Carter established Grandparents' Day, National Grandparents' Day, and it falls on the first Sunday after Labor Day. So we're going to acknowledge that. We're going to have an activity for our young learners. They'll have an opportunity to color a little poster, and they can write down things that they love about Grandpa, things they love about Grandma, color it, and present this poster to their grandparents just to commemorate this special day for them that was established by President Proclamation and continues through 2019.
Well, I have a special fondness for my grandparents. I have an awesome set of 4. Unfortunately, they're no longer with us, but I always have fond memories of doing things like reading with them. So I'm assuming that the book this month is going to be centered around our grandparents.
You'll love it. The Ultimate Guide to Grandmas and Grandpas by Sally Lloyd Jones and Michael Emberley.
So, of course, that's part of History Time Tots, and that's always on the first Saturday or the second Saturday?
The first Saturday is the second Saturday will be the 7th. Okay, this is September 7th, and then we'll offer again on Tuesdays, every Tuesday in September. So it's at 10 o'clock on both days. Mm-hmm.
Excellent. So also coming up, we're continuing our very popular Out of the Archives series, which is, you know, of course, our lunch and learn. So you can bring your lunch and still participate, but we're going out of the archives. So what is Preston talking about this month?
So Preston Petermeyer is going to be our presenter, and he's actually going to be talking about the architecture at the History Center. We're going to have an opportunity to learn about the history of the 1908 building and then the extension in 1926. He'll tell us a little bit about the architects, who all was involved in the design and the actual building of the buildings, and why it was added on to, or why we had an addition in 1926, where various offices were located. We get that question frequently. Well, where was this office located, or where was the sheriff's office located? So he's going to talk a little bit about that and take people, you know, kind of back on a walk back in time on when the building was just busy with government activities, what was going on.
And you actually have a very helpful diagram right there in the welcome room that will show you where the offices are. I noticed that the other day and I was like, huh, look at this. I've been in there for 5 years, and first time I've ever actually looked to see what that was. So.
And it's a helpful diagram. It talks about what was on each floor at different periods in our history. One of the, I think, most interesting things about Preston's presentation will include the great discovery when Judge Prince discovered the architectural plans, the original plans of the building that were actually stored in his historic home that he owned for a while down on Floral Avenue. So he'll talk about that and talk about that discovery. It was just quite a story that just out of nowhere, Judge Prince discovered that he was the keeper of the original architectural plans of the 1908 courthouse.
In his wall, right? That's so insane. So that's going to be on September 17th, and then on September 21st, they're going to have the opportunity to take all that knowledge that they just gained and go see it firsthand in the architectural tour.
That is correct. The architectural tour starts at 11 o'clock in the rotunda, and you know, the architectural tour is a tour of the building and kind of behind the scenes, and each month we have a special feature. So in September, our special feature will be about the mosaic tile that's on the floor.
Very cool. And in September, we also have, we referenced it last month, but let's go in a little more detail about the Shape Note event that you're going to be having on September 28th.
This is a very significant part of our heritage and our history. We discovered 2 years ago that we were the keepers of a replica of the Bethlehem Primitive Baptist Church that was in Shikora. Now, Shikora is located on the far southwestern portion of the county. The church today actually is across the border in Hillsborough County. But what derived from that congregation was the practice or the performance of shape note music. So in discovering that we had the building, it sort of led us on a journey to discover a little bit about shape note music, which is sung from the Sacred Harp Hymnal. And although there are not many, there are a few editions. The Bethlehem Primitive Baptist Church congregation uses the Cooper edition, which is, I think its most recent edition is about 2000. So the beauty of this music is that it is sung only, it's a cappella. The sacred harp refers to the voice only. So to help people learn to sing the notes, they were limited to really 4 different notes or sounds, and it's fa, sol, la, mi. And each of those notes is represented by a shape, a square, a diamond, a circle,
and a triangle.
And a triangle, that is right. And I'll tell you, it was, our research says that it was supposed to be an easy and intentional way to teach people how to sing. So they would sit in a square, and there's a hollow section in the middle, and the director, the director changes periodically during the singing. And so the annual performance was and continues today, every 5th Sunday, a sacred harp singing event. And they would sing in the morning, stop for a dinner on the grounds, a covered dish dinner, and then sing again in the afternoon. So on September 28th, which is the eve of the 5th Sunday in September, we're going to feature an event at the History Center so that we'll have an opportunity to teach people how to sing the shape note music. We'll have a workshop, you'll learn the notes, you'll learn how to sing in a square facing each other, and then we will have 2 hours in the afternoon to actually sing. We're so excited that I maybe mentioned but want to emphasize again that this group of people, the original Bethlehem Primitive Baptist Church Sacred Harp Singers, will be at the History Center, and they will be our featured group. We're inviting other sacred harp singers, shape note singers from around the Central Florida region. But I invite you to come. When I learned about it and listened to the music at first, it's very different. It's very different, and you will just get an amazing feeling from hearing these voices as they harmonize, facing each other, and singing sacred harp, meaning the voice only, a cappella, sung from the sacred harp hymnal, shape note music.
It's very cool. I mean, I looked it up after because I was like, what on earth is this? And I have a natural curiosity for everything. So I was, looking into it a little more and listened to some YouTube videos, things like that. And I was just like, wow, I've never heard of this. So for it to be done so locally and me have not ever heard of it, and my love, I mean, I was in chorus. I mean, these type of things they are the building blocks of music. They are how you're taught. I know I had to do sight reading and had to be able to look at a piece of music and be able to sing it without ever hearing it. So it's very interesting. And of course, that is, you said, the eve of the fifth Sunday. So they're also inviting people out for the actual Sunday that
Absolutely, and I would encourage people to seek that out. It's a little bit of a trek down to Shikora, but I found the experience to be just quite lovely. And they remind me, if you come, it's important to bring a covered dish because it's so far away. As one of their members said, there's no McDonald's close to Shikora, so make sure you bring a covered dish. And it just really is a wonderful experience. And the other thing, if you don't feel like you want to fa sol la mi, we will have the exhibit. We're going to bring the replica of the church, the first church, that will be on display. And we are so fortunate we have a very early edition of a sacred harp hymnal, and we have 3 different versions, so those will be on display. And it's just be very, I think, very informative and very interesting. Even if you don't want to sit in a square and sing fa sol la mi notes, then enjoy just listening to the music and come experience it and check out the exhibit.
Well, September is sure to be an amazing month at the History Center. We're all very much hoping and praying for cooler weather because this summer has been brutal. But everybody needs to come out and check it out.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming. Polk County has a rich history and heritage, and the Polk County History Center is continuously thinking of new ways to help Polk residents experience that history. The museum's collection includes natural and cultural objects related to Polk and the Central Florida area that represent our history from pre-Columbian to present-day eras. The artifacts on display at the museum represent individuals, cultural groups, and events significant to the region. Located at 100 East Main Street in Bartow, the History Center is open from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Tuesday through Saturday. For more information about exhibits and events, you can check them out on the web at polkhistorycenter.org or give them a call at 863-534-4386.